Hello, this is Tevs of the Unknown, and I'm here with another reaction. This is another one from Crisis. We just gotta keep the agenda going here, man. This video is called, yes, Nightwing versus Batman still isn't close. Essentially, I'm gonna call this one part 2, because I reacted to another one of his that said Nightwing versus, I think it was Nightwing versus Batman, and it isn't even close or something like that. Or Nightwing's better than Batman. I think that's what one of them's called. I think that was one of his videos. I reacted to that one because it piqued my interest, because I have been saying this for years. Nightwing has been better than Batman. And, you know, Batman fans, look, I'm not saying like I hate Batman. I think Batman's pretty fucking awesome. Okay? Alright? But I just think Nightwing's better. And I think it makes sense that Nightwing has gotten better over time. I mean, for Batman, yes, Batman can get better as well, obviously, but Nightwing's peak is going to be a lot longer than Batman's, because Batman's already, like, damn, like, he was already in his in his 30s, essentially, when Nightwing's pretty much a grown-ass man, and at late 30s and shit. So, I'm sorry. I mean, yeah. And people, I don't know, I feel like people just want to keep on, like, saying, oh, Batman can learn this, Batman can learn that, but nobody else can learn shit. Nobody else can grow. So, it's just, finally, we're getting some Nightwing love, and the showing, it actually is not just love, it's actually fucking logical that Nightwing is better than Batman. It's just nobody wants to admit it. Because Batman is a moneymaker, because, you know, everyone knows Batman. And I'm hoping with this new DCU, they start putting Nightwing more in the forefront, because that would make more sense going forward. You know, because DC's the strongest thing about DC, the strongest aspect of DC is its legacy. I feel like that's where they beat Marvel. DC has so much more of a full, rich legacy, and I just feel like they don't capitalize it at all. They don't capitalize on it at all. And for me, Marvel just really kind of just has necessarily for the most part, they're the OGs, and that's what they've always been on. Even with this MCU right now, the Avengers Doomsday, some of them are coming back for that, which I'm pretty happy of, because I love to see those characters again. But still, it's like they're leading heavy on those guys, because these other guys, they haven't really done as well of a job pushing them to the forefront as they should have. And it's because I just felt like their history is not as rich, or their legacy is not as rich as DC's legacy, where you got Nightwing, you have Jason Todd, you have Damian, Red Robin, Tim Drake, you got Barbara Gordon. And then from Nightwing, you got, you know, Starfire, and, you know, the Titans, Donna Troy, you know, from Wonder Woman, and Wally West from Kid Flash. And I mean, these guys are popular, you know, from stuff like the Teen Titans animated show, Young Justice, and even the Titans show. Even though the Titans show, the live action show, was not all that great, it still was pretty popular enough for people to keep wanting to see it for 4 fucking seasons. So, for me, that's how I felt, and I'm kind of veering, like, off this video. But all I'm saying is, going forward, DC needs to focus more on its legacy. And I think they'll do fucking fine with that. If you start focusing more on the legacy, and Nightwing being more on the forefront of that fucking legacy, like what's kind of happening in the comics right now. because Nightwing is that guy, and I'm glad we're getting some videos showing that he is that guy. And this is one of the videos, so I want to go ahead and check this one out, and also check out this cap, bro. Let's check it out. It's fucking clean, man. I got it from, damn, I can't remember. I think I got it from eBay. It was one that I thought I lost forever. And I think maybe I said this in an earlier video. Excuse me. But man, it was like deep in my closet in one of like the bags that you store like winter blankets and all that shit. It was there, and I was like, bro, I was just so overjoyed to finally have this bad boy back. I thought I lost it forever on a bus or something. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy, man. I'm seriously happy because I've been trying to replace it for like forever. And it's been years. So remember, if you lost anything, remember to always check your fucking closets. Alright, enough rambling. Let's go ahead and just jump right into this video. Alright, here we go. Let's do this, Crisis.
One Crisis here. In this video, I thought to provide a follow-up to my prior one all about how, yes, Nightwing does beat Batman. So give that a watch if you haven't yet. I'm going to be updating it, talking about any new evidence that might provide even more insight as to who would win a versus match. But I will also be taking a much more broader perspective, looking at various other attributes that define the characters, such as their detective abilities, tactics, comparing and contrasting their application of prep time, leadership, etc. If you enjoyed these kind of analysis about your favorite fictional characters, comic books, video games, check out my other videos and subscribe for more. It should be fairly obvious that, given that the first video covered almost 100 years of history, there's going to be a lot less to say this time in terms of who would win. But lately, we actually did learn something that pretty much proves everything I said in the first video even more. Dick Grayson, shortly after becoming Robin in the last Halloween #7, outright got the better of Batman while they were sparring. This being after the young Ward had been shot 6 weeks prior, yet he was still able to rebound and get the better of the Dark Knight. Couple this with the definitive history of the Dark Knight from 2022, calling Robin an equal crime fighter to Batman, an equal partner, and official merchandise going as far to say Robin was equally as feared as Batman, which, considering they're very different.
Here's the thing. With that, it's legit saying, look, Batman don't let anybody walk with him. You know what I'm saying? Essentially, that's the kind of, aura. I don't know if that's the right word. Or the energy that he brings. But all of a sudden, he lets this, or some people might think it's a little man, or this kid walk by him and fight crime with him. He must be one scary motherfucker. That's why I'm so surprised some people take Robin. When you think about it, I'm so surprised that people take Robin as a fucking joke. Because if Batman's letting that little motherfucker run around with him, he gotta be at least, if not fully, at least half as crazy and as brutal as Batman. So, put some respect on the name.
Different color schemes and costumes, that says a lot. Peter Tomasi, a very influential comic writer, when brought on board to the Nightwing book in 2008, stated that Nightwing was a millimeter off from Batman in every single facet. Remember that Nightwing constantly improves. Case in point, this is before his ascension into the role of Batman, where then in the New 52 he states to be better
Shout out
than ever,
Starfire.
and then again and
Also,
again, multiple.
Also, let's get Nightwing and Starfire together in the DCU. I don't want to see Barbara Gordon and Nightwing together. We already got them in the fucking comics. can we please have Nightwing and Starfire together in the DCU? Please. Just please. Alright.
Times after that. Keep this statement in mind as well when I talk about the other qualities of these crime fighters. When it comes to detective abilities, ingenuity, preparation, according to one of the more influential writers, Nightwing was only a millimeter off from the Dark Knight many years ago relative to his evolution. In the very recent Night Fight number 2, which sees Batman fighting a future version of Dick Grayson, who has since become Batman. Now, it's worth noting that it's not fair to scale this alternate future version of a character to their main self, because we simply don't know what advancements or even regressions might have taken place. Alternate universes can present infinite possibilities after all. However, Scott Snyder, who helped co-plan this storyline, did say that in the case of Dick Grayson and Damian Wayne, this is 100% what would happen if their current continuity selves became Batman and were Batman for a long while. That being said, for what it's worth, this Dick Grayson Batman, far older than his current main continuity self, does just defeat Batman outright, even after Batman deduces the nature of this alternate reality, which the writer clarified as the moment in which Bruce Wayne cuts loose. So this very accurate future version of Dick Grayson, who happens to be much older than his main self, defeats a going all-out Batman, all while trying to talk down who he believes to just be a crazy version of his mentor. On that note, while fighting this future Dick Grayson, Batman ponders about the real one, stating that he is in awe of the way he fights, how his abilities were instinctual compared to Bruce Wayne, who has to actually put thought into his combat moves. Grayson was born to fight. And when future Nightwing tells Batman to just stay down, Bruce notes that the real Dick Grayson would know that that's not possible, that there's no scenario in which if Bruce Wayne could get up, he won't. This means that, like I showed in my past video, all of these various fights in which Dick Grayson took the W or believed he did win, Bruce admits that Nightwing is fully aware of Batman's
that
limits.
shit, just beating the shit out of him. Always be beating the shit out of Batman. Look, Batman had one good shot. And it's one that I always keep remembering. It is that backhanded slap. But it's because Nightwing had something in his tooth, I think. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, Batman was just trying to knock it out, while also, bit slapping Grayson for the talk that he was giving him. But yeah, you always be just beating the shit out of Batman every fucking time, bro, and it's because Nightwing fucking goes off.
Every time Nightwing believes he's beaten Batman or is confident he could do so, that's actually just a totally credible assessment in the words of Batman himself. Either way, what's most relevant to me is that in issue 2, the Dark Knight internally states that he knew Dick Grayson would surpass him from day one. Keep in mind, this is in an actual fight, mid-combat. So that is what this statement would be reflecting. This is massive, because of course, given the nature of serialized fiction, we can apply this information, this insight, into even the Golden Age, or the earliest days of Dick Grayson as Robin. If I didn't make it obvious enough in my first video, Batman took in this kid, trained him, thus to be his successor, and of course that would at least have to mean he saw the potential in Grayson to at least rival, or now we know, just surpass him outright. So when we look back at the various statements saying that Nightwing has never let Batman down, or more impressively, during the period where Dick Grayson was Batman and Bruce was assessing what had happened while he was away, he stated verbatim that in the case of Damian Wayne and Dick Grayson, they each had expectations for their role. However, they have both far surpassed them. So, add 2 and 2 together, this very clearly means that not only did Dick Grayson become a better combatant than Bruce Wayne, but he even exceeded that expectation to do so. Like I said last time, the only way to even attempt to refute this, to try to make Batman look better, would be to, at the same time, downplay his assessment of his pupil's potential and his ability to unlock that potential, to train him. So to make Nightwing look bad, to make
Texas is feeling
mad.
unwell. Out taxes is an open door to new
Batman look good, you'd have to make Batman look bad. Not very logically sound. A little bit before that, in the much maligned and fairly so Hush 2, it's all the same canonical, unfortunately, Batman states that Dick will always be the best member of the Bat family, but he doesn't consciously think or feel that. It's been established by a number of writers and storylines that Nightwing is a humble character. In my opinion, he just tries to be the best Dick Grayson he can, which, incidentally, happens to be better than Batman. Dark Crisis was a big turning point for the character, of course.
Yes, let's get to this one. Bro, I'm gonna say this. They kind of fumbled with the Titans because, here it is. Justice League was dead. And then when everything got brought back, it was like, okay, but Justice League, they broke up. I knew it wasn't gonna be forever because it's the fucking Justice League. But I kind of felt like they fumbled the Titans story in this whole thing. At first, it was starting off good, but then I just felt like they didn't really do a lot of things where, while the Justice League was sidelined, you could say, damn, the Titans are like fucking for real. And again, they have the ability to be that. I just felt like the writers fumbled the fucking shit out of it. So hopefully, even in the DCU that's coming up, again, they do a better job at showing off that the Titans can and eventually will surpass the Justice League. So I hope we do have like this crisis happen eventually, and start moving Nightwing more to the forefront and the Titans more to the forefront, and get some more fucking stories than the same ones we kind of keep getting all the time. All right.
For a large part of his history, he was contending with being in Batman's shadow. Becoming Nightwing, becoming Batman, becoming a better Batman than Bruce Wayne, all added to his confidence, but Joshua Williamson put it plainly that he is finally now fully conversant with his status as a true top-tier hero. But, at least in Bruce's opinion, his assessment, that's not something he necessarily believes. Which makes sense, he's not arrogant. An area where he has every right to be, however, is his acrobatic agility, which of course informs his fighting style to a great degree and sets him apart from Bruce Wayne. Nightwing is stated point blank to be the best acrobat in the entire DC universe. Think about that for a second. Even compared to people made out of rubber or that possess every single ability of the animal kingdom, no one is more agile than Nightwing. In fact, as soon as Robin came into the picture, he actually made Bruce Wayne the pupil in that area. He taught Batman how to be a better acrobat. Editors of the Batman and Nightwing titles would even say back in the day, answering fan questions, that the Dark Knight would clear the Olympics, get every gold medal, unless he was competing with Nightwing. Which makes sense. He was trained by the absolute best in the world, his parents. The most impressive part about this to me is that this was really before the new age of heroes, the Silver Age that's embodied in the teens.
And Nightwing, he's got to have solo movies too, and a series in some way. Yeah, I would throw the whole thing at Nightwing. Give him the Batman treatment. You know, we got to have him dealing, still kind of dealing with his parents' death in ways, even though it seems like he's moved on. There's still always those jolts, those pings of him always thinking about his parents and how they died and shit like that. Just gotta have, okay. Okay, I know to keep stopping this video, but I'm just saying. It's what's needed.
Titans, and Justice League. While there were plenty of superpowered heroes before Dick Grayson was born, his ability to carry the torch from his parents and maintain his #1 status for the Flying Graysons, despite the hundreds of metahumans that would come into the picture, it really speaks to his training and willpower, and I think that would influence all of his other aspects as well. He constantly pushes himself to keep up with Batman, to outdo the rest of the Bat family, and even try his hardest to step it up when rivals of Bruce Wayne come into the
Terry
picture.
Carano.
Combining all of these skills would as well culminate in the greatest spy in the DCU, as showcased in the Grayson era. Wherein
See, people need to stop hating on that. That Grayson era, where he was Agent 37, he was fucking badass, bro. I loved that series. I mean, I'm glad it was short-lived and it didn't stay too long in that, but that was a great fucking series. Seriously, there's so many things you could do with Nightwing in the DCU, man. That, Nightwing, going from Robin to Nightwing, having to be the leader of the Titans, having to be a detective, and then eventually, if there was some kind of way they eventually get him to become like a spy, I guess I don't think they could exactly do it like they did in Forever Evil, where they kill him, although I just love trying to kill my boy. They could find some kind of way for him, because I think Agent 37 would be like a Mission Impossible type of movie, I feel. You know what I mean? And if we can get Tom Cruise to probably direct that shit, I think that would be fucking dope. Alright.
Became a secret agent for the organization Spiral. A spy is defined simply as a person who secretly collects and reports information on the activities, movements, and plans of an enemy or competitor. So in this aspect, obtaining information while staying hidden, Nightwing is as well better than the Dark Knight, which of course is backed up by the various feats of sneaking up on superhumans, speedsters, or even Batman himself in Nightwing's case. And while the title of World's Greatest Detective firmly rests on Bruce Wayne's mantle, I still think it's worth analyzing where Nightwing falls by comparison. Given the fact that even in the early days, the first Robin would casually impress Batman, such as with his understanding of Morse code in the last Halloween, his ability to solve strange cases such as the degradation of Bizarro World's gravity before Batman could think of it in World's Finest. And remember, Robin was officially second only to Batman in criminology. He was at the mental peak right next to Bruce Wayne according to the definitive history of the Dark Knight, and even back in the Golden Age it was stated he could outthink specific foes like Two-Face even better than Batman. Keep in mind his number 2 status. Again, this is as Robin, nowhere near his peak. Writers like Scott Snyder have characterized him as a more empathetic thinker than Bruce, and is therefore able to solve certain cases better than Batman. This is foundational to the two characters' core fundamental aspects. Bruce Wayne lost so much humanity facing that tragedy as a young boy, and it is in large part thanks to Batman being an example for the first Robin in a way that Alfred simply never could, that afforded Grayson a stronger tether to his internal humanity. This allows him to connect with people more, understand them. Couple this with the brighter colors of the Robin costume, forcing the young Ward to notice details Batman simply wouldn't have to. In many ways, he was in more danger, so he'd have to think differently to survive. Again, this is backed up by Batman himself in Batman and Robin Eternal number 26. But what does this mean for Batman's status as the world's greatest detective?
That's another great comp. I don't know if Batman and Robin Eternal kind of lasted a bit long, but that was a great one, man. I enjoyed the shit out of that one. Batman and Robin Eternal was fucking good, man. It was really fucking good.
If you ask me, I think it's simply a moniker. Just like how Barry Allen is often called the fastest man alive, even while sharing the mantle of Flash with Wally West, who has been the greater speedster for decades. This is basically confirmed in Detective Comics number 1000, where the likes of Hawkman, The Question, Martian Manhunter, and Detective Chimp are all showcased to be superior. Chimp in particular is called the world's greatest detective by both Nightwing, within more recent Batman stories themselves, and even the latest Wonder Woman storyline. What's interesting about that is it brings into question when Tim Drake or Nightwing, for example, who have been stated by Scott Snyder to be equally as smart as each other, are noted as the second best detective. Does that make them second best to Detective Chimp? Where does that leave Batman? Honestly, we have many characters like Batgirl, Martian Manhunter himself, Ra's al Ghul, for instance, who are all officially noted as having rivaling detective abilities to the Dark Knight. Yet still, multiple sources all attest that Dick is a better detective than these other characters who rival Batman. Overall, when you add all of this together, I think the case is they each have strengths and weaknesses. Maybe Nightwing, while being still supremely impressive, is a hair less analytical than Batman, but he is more empathetic. Honestly, I don't think there's a case, based on all of this, that Batman could solve that Nightwing could not. I think they might go about it differently. They'd probably each struggle with certain aspects that the other crime fighter would treat more easily. And this is evident, as even in Dark Victory, when Dick was just Robin, he actually solved the case that Bruce had been musing over for a long while, just based on his intuition. In Sam Humphrey's Nightwing arc, the character of the Judge was someone who was showcased as back in the day giving Batman the slip. He was a cold case until Nightwing brought him down. Hugo Strange as well is an interesting character, as he's actually considered to be one of the smartest men in the DC Universe, according to the 2021 DC book guide. Funnily enough, Batman isn't even in the running. Of course, Nightwing isn't either, but with Batman fully present, Dick outsmarted Hugo Strange in the Night of the Monster Man Rebirth arc and in Gotham Knights number 21. It's been stated that he thinks like Bruce. He is a master detective, and he has many feats of solving a crime before Bruce. On the notion of intellect, I think that parlays directly into their ability to devise various tactics or make countermeasures for various outcomes that these heroes might face. I've said it before and I'll say it again, Nightwing officially knows everything Batman knows and is his most trusted ally to this day. He'd read all of Batman's files on the Justice League members. Even in the current era, we've learned that Clayface, after only a brief stint in the Bat family, was also instructed as to how to defeat the Justice League. Nightwing has simply inherited all of that knowledge, and in fact, he has iterated upon it himself. In the recent Beast World event, we learned that he has his own files detailing how to take down all of the most powerful superheroes. This was as well shown various times in the Nightwing Rebirth run, where multiple different supervillains try to get in his head, with him being considered the Fort Knox of information in this respect. As it's shown, he knows the weaknesses for all of the Titans, the Justice League, multiple different Flashes, and speaking of getting into his head, similar to Batman's alternate persona, Zur-En-Arr, a backup identity devised to resist mental intrusion, Nightwing has his own, but unlike Zur-En-Arr, which totally backfired and became likely a bigger threat than any villain trying to get into Batman's head, Dick simply partitioned his brain. It's much more benign. But it was still shown as effective, even against the mental intrusion of Raven's dark side. Of course, another important facet of prep time when it comes to Batman are his various power armors, his Justice Busters, if you will. However, again, knowing everything Batman knows, having his full trust and confidence would again by definition mean Nightwing knows how to build whatever Batman does as well. In truth, though, the Dark Knight's most powerful armors, he didn't even build them. The Hellbat was a group effort, the entire Justice League contributing to it. And the final Batsuit is from a higher, alternate, more idyllic dimension. While it is true that Nightwing has sported some nebulously detailed power armor in the past, it's really just a matter of preference. In fact, his normal costume is still less armored than Batman's standard Batsuit. He prefers to pack light, despite still, of course, having an arsenal to rival Batman's utility belt.
Because he packs light because it helps him, it makes him more agile. Because if he carried the same shit as Batman, he's got to carry all that fucking weight, and it doesn't help with his fighting style. Batman's more of a pound the ground. Nightwing's more of a almost like a ballet type of fight. It's still a brutal fight, but it's more of a ballet than it is a ground and pound type of fight like Batman.
Most feats of contending with entire enemy teams, or androids with all the powers of the Justice League without needing a power armor in the first place. While Batman is certainly a super genius, there's no doubt about it, it's not like he's solely to thank for every gadget. Obviously, he has his entire company, he has Lucius Fox to help make his designs a reality, and even back in the 90s, you had Harold helping outfit the Batmobile with all of its gizmos. Nightwing is, of course, a master hacker. He has his own bat caves with different kinds of technology to assist him if the need arises. There really isn't much a distinction here. However, where he really shines is in comparison to raw tactical ability. For an example, did you know Penguin is supposed to be maybe even smarter than Batman in this respect? Albeit blinded by ego, yet still, his ability to plan is officially a match for Bruce's.
Joker can match Batman on crazy, Riddler can match Batman on intelligence, Penguin can match Batman on sort of planning.
That being said, while Dick wore the cape and cowl, his operations were dismantling Penguins to the point of desperation. Two-Face then attempted to leak this information to Dick Grayson as part of this plan, but Nightwing was ahead of them both. Two of the most dangerous and cunning Batman villains, Grayson could actually outthink both of them. Deathstroke, too, is stated to rival Batman in terms of preparation, which I'll put that into perspective. Think of all of Batman's contingencies against other superhumans. His reputation as the Bat God. Deathstroke is either a little worse or possibly even a little better than that, which of course lines up with his performance against multiple Justice League rosters, even including Batman. Nightwing has earned his respect.
That fight was cold, bro. No, that fight was cold right there. Try to stop right there. Hold up.
Including Batman, Nightwing has earned his respect and defeated
that fight right there, Nightwing, and they've got. I'm sorry, seeing this again, they had to have this in the DCU because Nightwing and Deathstroke going blow for blow in that Crisis event. My God, bro, that was so fucking cool. That right there, that is, bro. Let's get this in the DCU. Come on now.
Deathstroke, as well as overturned his plans, his machinations multiple times over. To make the comparisons super succinct, as the Dark Knight, Dick Grayson was stated to think like Bruce, be the leader and strategist of the JLA, planning missions involving not just that team, but the Justice Society as well, even when Mr. Terrific, possibly the smartest person in the DCU, could have called the shots. He instead deferred to and respected Dick Grayson's leadership. He outsmarted the entire crime syndicate, including Owlman, who is just Bruce's equal outright, possibly just more ruthless. He even got the better of Eclipso, the precursor to the Spectre, aka the Wrath of God, who would consistently play chess with Darkseid, the archetypal evil mastermind of higher dimensional proportions.
Darkseid.
Remember in my last video when I talked about Batman The Return #1? In that issue, not only is Dick Grayson stated to be stronger and faster, better than Bruce Wayne, but he's also called smarter as well. The most insane, mind-boggling instance of this has to be in the Batman Who Laughs miniseries. That villain is the ultimate embodiment of the Batman always wins ideology. Take his allegedly supreme tactics, combine it with the Joker's ingenious evil, and you get someone who's defeated his entire Bat family, Justice League, every hero, every god of his own reality, and even many more. That's the Batman Who Laughs. He made Bruce Wayne so desperate that he turned to the Joker, who then conceded inferiority in this instance to James Gordon Jr., a sociopath that the Clown Prince of Crime called the best criminal genius. The only person who could possibly anticipate what the Batman Who Laughs was going to do was easily, immediately recognized and outdone by Dick Grayson's Batman in the Black Mirror storyline. This is a perfect example, in my opinion, to demonstrate how Dick Grayson's mind and Bruce Wayne's mind operate in a distinct way. Because of his empathy, because of what he can recognize about other people, Grayson immediately pegged James Gordon as an evil criminal from the start, putting a tracking device on him and foiling his attempt to kill Barbara Gordon as well as his larger scheme. I don't know what can make it more clear. In more modern events like Beast World, Bruce Wayne as well defers to Dick Grayson's plan to save the entire Earth. This, however, goes hand in hand with Nightwing's leadership skills, which are just, again, no contest, definitively superior to Batman's. Bruce Wayne has a weakness as a leader. He sees other heroes as soldiers and chess pieces. No matter how tactically gifted you are, you can't completely control people. Case in point, Hal Jordan or Oliver Queen. These are other very prideful superheroes.
Batman does some shit underhanded, they go out there and knock his ass out.
to often defect from Batman or fall out of line. Contrast that with Nightwing, who Batman has, again, just flat out admitted he's a better leader, and he was so as soon as he joined the Teen Titans, because he's a people...
Hey, the Teen Titans, the Mark Waid stuff, I think they should make that into the animated series. That's another idea. They should definitely make that into... I enjoyed that. Like, the beginnings of the Teen Titans by the World's Finest Teen Titans from Mark Waid. They should definitely try to use a lot of that influence in an animated show, because so people can understand more of the relationships and stories, not just as the Teen Titans as a whole, but also as it's being told in the DCU. So when you see them growing up, you could kind of understand more of the relationships and shit like that. And I love the fact where Dick had to make a choice to reveal himself to his teammates, who eventually become his best friends, by taking off the mask and showing that it's Dick Grayson as Robin, because that was the turning point for them, and for them to like finally trust him and realize that he does have skin in the game, and even if it came at at his expense, because Batman was gonna punish his ass, which he did, but Batman understood why Dick had to do it, but punished him, minimal punishment. He didn't have to give up being Robin, but just maybe for like a few weeks.
Person. I feel like this gets said a lot for
Batman
almost every superhero team.
Go
the X-Men are a family. The Justice Society are a family. The Great Lake Avengers
distract the
are
bad
a
guys'
family.
bullets.
But for the Titans, this is undeniable. These were all a bunch of kids who had one thing in common. They were all proteges of superheroes, the best ones in the world. And they all spent many years growing up alongside each other, taking in new allies, forming new relationships. Yep. They suffered personal losses together, multiple generations. And who is the glue to keep them all together? Who was it that Donna Troy leaned on when faced with the loss of her family? Who was it that Roy Harper called when he needed to save his daughter? It was the heart and soul of the DCUniverse. Not to mention that, ever since being a kid, he had to forge the Teen Titans into a formidable unit, whereas most of Batman's teams are comprised of measured adults. Another component of leadership is the literal training of other superheroes, where Nightwing as well has been stated to be the best of the best.
But he's running a cross-training gym because he's probably the best trainer in the entire DC universe. I mean, wouldn't you want to be trained by him? I would.
While some might think that's absurd, after all, Batman trained Nightwing himself, as well as a small army of other Robins and Batgirls.
His
it
training
is also
preferences
true
may
that
not
in
be
the
the
case
same.
of Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and Damian Wayne, Grayson also played and continues to play a heavy role in forging those other heroes. Just look at the Man of Steel trusting his own son with Nightwing's mentorship. This is even true for the entire Bat family, Bruce Wayne recognizing this in the fallout of the Gotham War event, wherein he concedes that Dick Grayson, Barbara Gordon...
I wonder if he's going to, if in the DCU we're going to have, because I think Anna Nagara, I'm pretty sure I'm butchering her last name, she wrote Supergirl. So I wonder if Superman would send like Supergirl to the Titans, because Anna Nagara is also writing for the Teen Titans live action film. So interesting enough, maybe her being sent there, maybe just saying, Supergirl being sent there, so Nightwing could train her and teach her more about being a hero. Maybe, because I know she's kind of viewing things as pretty bleak, but we'll have to see what happens with the Supergirl movie. But that would be pretty cool, because I don't know if they can do that with Jonathan Kent. I don't know if the DCU is gonna last that long, so that'd be pretty cool. Supergirl on the Teen Titans.
Those are the true parents of the Bat family, which was already evident. The fact that Batman went out of line and literally the entire Bat family rallied behind Nightwing to bring him in, what does that show you? It shows you that they trust Nightwing more than they trust the Dark Knight. Even events like We Are Robin, where Dick leads the other Robins to train a small army of upstarts, or Batman and Robin Eternal, where Nightwing blatantly leads the other Robins to defeating someone Batman failed to.
The hero that everybody in the DC Universe listens to is not necessarily Batman. Most of the time it's Batman, but invariably it's Dick Grayson.
And it's because of who he is. He is the coalescence of the best attributes of Superman and Batman.
He was the kid that so many people grew up with, and then he grew up to become something else, to become something bigger, and to become the best of Batman, and the best of Superman, and the best of us.
People forget, but the first Robin is a member of World's Finest. He spent years training under both of the best superheroes, making him a tactical genius.
Batman taught him how to
Batman,
fight crime.
but
Superman taught him how to be a hero.
He impresses people while inspiring them simultaneously. Dark Crisis again showed this, as Dick Grayson led every generation of superheroes to defeat Pariah and Deathstroke, all empowered by the Great Darkness, a threat to match the Presence, also known as the ultimate creator of the DC multiverse. After this, the entire Trinity, all three members, gave Dick the mantle of leader of the Justice League. The writer of these events stated that, sure, Nightwing could have just constructed a proper Justice League team, similar to the one that he already successfully led in post-Crisis, but he, as well as the likes of Superman and Green Arrow, knew that the Titans were ready to become the premier team, wherein he led them to defeat Trigon, foil Amanda Waller, Raven's dark side. While many people seem to downplay the effectiveness of the Titans in this era, Amanda Waller causing as much chaos as she did was really the Justice League's fault when you think about it. Because after Dark Crisis, their great idea was to just completely disband. They apparently weren't even communicating with each other outside of the rare chance of maybe two members teaming up, which is really weird to me because in the past, when the Justice League was the premier team, you had the Titans and the JSA and every other team potentially to call on. But when the Titans are on the team, the Justice League just decide to basically give up. Even with that said, in the Absolute Power event, it was Nightwing who led every single superhero
y'all get y'all shit together.
Finally defeating Amanda Waller once and for all, inspiring great pride in the Dark Knight, which again, we all know what that really means. After this, at this exact moment, because Nightwing is busy in Bloodhaven fighting a multi-dimensional demon, he gave Donna Troy the chance to lead the Titans for a while. In spite of that, not really wanting to be a leader in the very democratic Justice League Unlimited, wherein the Titans, JSA, traditional Justice League lineup are all treated as equals.
We need to remind people that it doesn't mean the Titans are subservient to the Justice League. It doesn't mean the JSA is subservient. We're working together as equals so we can share our resources, so we can pool our power, so we can pool our brain trust.
Grayson is still in the Inner Council, one of the higher-ups that gets to decide the nature of the entire superhero community. And based on the synopsis for later issues, it does seem like Nightwing will be leading the Titans again. This is what Batman wants. The greatest contingency, the greatest achievement that Batman has made, which he can take much of the credit for, is helping to craft this new superhero. His successor, which has surpassed him in all but every way. As it's been stated, if the Dark Knight...
I am behind on a few Titans issues, by the way. I'm gonna try to catch up, for sure. I've been catching up on the Nightwing stuff too. I'm caught up actually, because I'm on the last on the latest issue, and shit, that shit is crazy.
And is proud of one thing, it is Nightwing. And after all, who are we to deprive him of that? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.
Yo, man, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. It was more insight and more stuff to show that Nightwing is still better than Batman. And again, it's not even close. The way they think kind of complements one another, because Batman can think a little bit more cynically, and I think Nightwing is more empathetic, as he was saying, to certain things that Batman wouldn't pick up, and Batman would be to certain things that Nightwing wouldn't necessarily pick up. And you can see why they were a dynamic duo, but Nightwing has grown from that shown that he has surpassed Batman. The student has surpassed the teacher, people. I think Nightwing, if they can just allow Nightwing to showcase that in the DCU, people understand that Nightwing ain't no joke. And he ain't second rate to Batman. I just think Nightwing deserves a hell of a lot more love than he gets. And I love showing videos like this, or reacting to videos like this, where we can say, yes, let's put the focus on Nightwing, because it's always on Batman. And look, I get the love for Batman because Batman's fucking cool, but damn it, Nightwing is better than his ass. I've said this before. So yeah, and his story is a lot more intriguing than Batman's, because Batman's the same old shit, the dark, brooding. He never truly evolves from that. In my viewpoint, he's never truly evolved from that. Nightwing has evolved. He's really had strong character development to get to where he is now. To where now he's actually calling the fucking shots. In a room full of Justice League and Titans members. So for me, Nightwing to me is the best. And that's a hill I'll die on. So alright, you guys, thank you for watching this reaction. Let me know in the comment section how y'all feel about this. Yeah. Sorry, but I just went blank for a split second. But yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for watching videos like this. I truly appreciate the views getting and the subscribers. Although I'd like to pick that up a little bit. And also, yeah, man, and even the comments. I mean, it's not a lot of comments I'm getting, but the few I really truly appreciate. But yeah, let's get Nightwing in the DCU and make this man the front man. Let's do it. Come on, James Gunn, let's get it done. Alright. And as always, you guys stay safe out there. The world keeps getting crazier and crazier. Cherish moments you have with your loved ones. Cherish your loved ones. And you're still breathing in and out. You still got time to go out there and accomplish your goals to make your dreams come true. Alright. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully we get another Nightwing video.